Think about your mind as a tool, an instrument designed to serve you. It can work for you, shaping your reality, guiding your decisions. But its true power depends on one thing: how you use it. Your intelligence is not fixed. It is not a number. It is not what you have been told it is. Your intelligence is the direct result of what your mind receives and how you process it. Now let's go deeper. Your mind works like a receiver. It absorbs signals, processes information, and delivers insights. But if it is a receiver, then what it tunes into determines everything. Imagine you are about to make a life-changing financial decision. You go to the best consultant you can find, someone with the most refined awareness, the sharpest insights. The higher their intelligence, the better their guidance, the wiser your decision. Now expand this beyond finances. In every moment of life, you are seeking guidance. In relationships, in purpose, in self-discovery. And just like with financial advice, the quality of your thoughts depends on the source of your input. But here's the problem. Most people don't connect to higher intelligence. Instead, they fill their minds with random chatter, opinions, fears, limitations. They listen to voices that weaken their mind instead of sharpening it. And this is where the true challenge begins. If your mind is always receiving, then what if you could connect to the highest intelligence that exists? The intelligence that governs existence itself. In reality, you are already connected, but the connection is weak, interrupted by noise, disrupted by distractions. Your mind was designed to work as a bridge to something greater, yet most of the time it is tuned into the wrong frequency. This journey is about exploring how clearing the mind, removing interference, allows us to connect with the current intelligence of the universe. This is not about gathering more knowledge. It is about tapping into direct intelligence. Intelligence that does not come from memory, but from awareness itself. And when you connect to this power, life reveals its other side to you. What once seemed chaotic becomes ordered. What once felt uncertain becomes clear. Because intelligence is not just in you. It moves through everything, waiting for you to align with it. This is the start of an expanded journey into intelligence itself. The highest challenge in connecting with the intelligence of the universe is not something external. It is not a lack of knowledge, nor is it the absence of opportunity. It is one thing, your inner voice. This voice is not fixed. It is shaped by everything you have experienced, everything you have been told, everything you have seen. It is a collection of echoes. Your past, your fears, the beliefs imposed upon you by society, parents, teachers, and peers. At first, this voice seems to be your protector. It warns you, guides you, and convinces you that it knows what is best. But in reality, it is the greatest barrier to truth. Because the mind is like a mirror. If it is covered in noise, it distorts everything you see. And if your inner voice is shaped by fear, it will filter reality through fear. At the beginning of life, this voice was not there. You were simply aware. A child does not overthink before acting, does not calculate risks with hesitation, does not drown in self-doubt. But as you grew, the voice began to form. It came from your parents telling you what is right and wrong. It came from teachers setting limits on what is possible. It came from society shaping your expectations, your identity, your fears. Over time, this voice merged with you. You no longer question it. You believe it is you. It tells you what is possible and what is not. It warns you against failure, convincing you to stay where it is safe. It reminds you of your past mistakes and projects them onto your future. And just like that, it places a veil over your awareness. You do not see life as it is. You see it through the lens of this voice. For many, this voice becomes their only reality. It teaches them. It advises them. It commands them. But in truth, it blinds them. It creates an illusion where they believe their thoughts are their own, when in reality, they are echoes of conditioning. But what if I told you there is a way to clear it? At any moment, there is a way to step beyond this voice. That way is silence. Silence separates you from the chatter. It creates a distance between you and the noise inside your head. And when you step back, something incredible happens. You begin to observe it. You see that your life was not as bad as your inner voice made it seem. You notice how this voice turns small fears into overwhelming anxieties. You realize that much of your suffering was not caused by life itself, but by the way your mind narrated it. This journey is not about silencing the voice completely. That is impossible. Instead, it is about seeing that you are not the voice. Because once you realize this, everything changes. You can hear it without obeying it. You can witness its presence without being controlled by it. And this leads to the ultimate question. If you are not the voice in your head, then who are you? When the inner voice fades, when thoughts no longer dominate your mind, what remains? What remains is your pure awareness. This awareness is not something separate from you. It is you. It is your consciousness, your true intelligence, the essence of your being. And the moment you touch it, you realize something profound. This awareness has always been there, not beneath the noise, but above it. It stands above the distractions, beyond the conditioning that society has placed upon you. It is not something you must build. It is something you must uncover. Our minds, our sight, our hearing, they have been trained to see only the surface of life. People, situations, problems, opportunities. Everything is interpreted based on what we have learned, what we have been told. But when you stop letting these external perceptions define reality, something shifts. You see life not from the level of thought, but from the level of truth. And in that truth, you reconnect with your highest self. A self that is not bound by fleeting emotions, temporary fears, or the beliefs of others. A self that is always with you, guiding you. It does not speak to you in words. It does not give you commands the way your inner voice does. It speaks through your deepest feelings, through a knowing that is beyond thought. And here lies the hidden truth. It can guide you toward your highest reality, the life you are meant to live. But society does not see this, because it is trapped in the world of sensory perception. Most people trust only what they can see, hear, and touch. They do not know how to access what is beyond. But silence reveals it. Silence is the access point. The Bible says, "Be still and know that I am God." Why does it say be still? Because God is not found in noise. He is not heard through endless thought. God is near, but the mind is too busy to perceive him. The Quran says, "We are closer to you than your jugular vein." God is near. Not far, not distant, not hidden. Nearer to you than your own breath. So why do people feel disconnected? Why do they feel lost? Because they are drowning in the noise of the world. They trust the voices around them more than the knowing within them. They fill their minds with the fears and opinions of others, instead of trusting the intelligence that is already inside them. But when you silence your mind, you access God. Not as an external figure, not as a voice in your head, not as an image of power. You access pure intelligence, divine guidance, not through thought, but through feeling, not through analysis, but through presence. And then something incredible happens. When you enter that space, when you live with that silence, you begin to fall in love with it, because in that space you are not alone. There is a presence there, but this presence is not in your mind, it is in your heart. The heart is the source. It is the space where divine guidance enters. It is the place where true intelligence flows, not through logic, but through love. The mind was never meant to lead. Its role is to be silent and follow, to listen to the heart, to trust what the heart loves, to move with the rhythm of truth. This is why the mystics have always pointed to the heart as the center of wisdom, because the mind thinks, but the heart knows. The mind analyzes, but the heart feels the truth. The mind calculates risks, but the heart knows the way. The mind doubts, but the heart trusts. This is why the Quran speaks of hearts that are blind, even when the eyes can see. For indeed, it is not the eyes that grow blind, but it is the hearts in the chests that grow blind. Quran 22:46. Because true blindness is not about sight. It is about being disconnected from the heart. When you are caught in the noise of the mind, you cannot feel the quiet whisper of the heart. You cannot sense the guidance that flows from a deeper place, a place of pure knowing. This is the difference between thinking and knowing. Thinking is guessing, doubting, analysing. Knowing is clear, effortless, direct. Thinking is noisy. It is fragmented. It is restless. Knowing is silent. It is whole. It is peaceful. And when your decisions come from knowing, not from thought, not from fear, you step into your highest power. This is the power that comes from trusting the heart. This is the intelligence that moves the universe. And it is the same intelligence that is waiting to move through you. When you trust the heart, you no longer act out of fear. You no longer need endless validation. You no longer search for answers outside of yourself, because you are connected to the source of truth itself. It guides you toward your highest purpose. It empowers you to face your fears. It leads you to the life you are meant to live. And after a while, you look back at your life and realize everything changed. Not because someone gave you advice, not because you read more books, not because you followed someone else's path, but because you followed the intelligence of your heart. The mind became silent. The noise faded. And in that silence, truth became clear. To connect with the highest intelligence of the universe, begin with silence. Not just the absence of noise, but the presence of awareness. Find a calm place and sit in stillness. Listen to your inner voice. Observe it without judgment. Notice how it tries to guide you, protect you, and limit you. But also notice that it is not you. In that silence, you become the observer, and your awareness rises above the noise. To deepen this awareness, read the holy books. It does not matter whether it is the Bible, the Quran, or the Torah. These are not just religious texts, they are guides to the truth that lies within you. But read them not as labels or identities. Do not get trapped in knowing yourself as a follower of one category or another. Read them as mirrors to your own heart, because the truth they speak is the truth that is already inside you. A truth that does not divide, but unites. Live with the truth that is in your heart, the truth that knows everything without thinking. This is the source of your highest intelligence. When you trust this truth, your intelligence expands beyond limitations. You no longer need endless opinions or external validation. You no longer search for answers outside of yourself, because in that silence, you find the wisdom that guides you and empowers you on your path, a wisdom that flows from the intelligence of your heart. In that silence, you and God are one in the path of growth, a growth that aligns with the entire universe, a growth where the universe moves at your heart's command, not because you control it, but because you are in harmony with it. When your mind is silent and your heart is open, you become the vessel for the highest intelligence. This is the journey to your true self. This is the path to infinite power. This is the journey of returning to yourself. This is the journey of living from knowing, not thinking. This is the journey of falling in love with silence.